Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Steam Shuffle. However, this is not actually a Steam Shuffle. This is the promised video of the benchmarks of my new rig. One thing I do want to point out immediately is that when I was capturing this footage, the frame rate at which it captured the footage is not what you actually see displayed on the screen as of right now. The capture footage is actually a much lower frame rate. And I worked at trying to get that fixed for quite some time, and I couldn't quite find a fix, so I apologize for that. Turns out, capturing benchmarking software is a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So some of the things in here are going to be a bit wonky, but I did the best I could to show you an accurate portrayal. What you're looking at right now is the first of the three benchmarks that we will be referencing. This is the Firestrike benchmark through 3D Mark. This is not the Ultra version. This is just a standard Firestrike benchmark. I ran the other ones as well, but I figured this would give a pretty good idea of what it can do. I was also kind of surprised by some of my scores because I had ran benchmarks as soon as I built the rig, and some of the numbers were lower than I originally benchmarked out. My only thought to why that would be that when I was recording them, although I did try to I tried to do a benchmark without capturing, and I got the same results. So the other thing I could think of was my live wallpaper maybe affecting it, or I just have a lot of stuff going on in the background, because some of the numbers were 1,000 or 2,000 less. Some were even more than that, so I was kind of surprised. This is the combined test that you see right now. This is the only thing that actually captured at the proper frame rate, the one that was most taxing. I don't quite understand that. And what you see on the screen right now is the first benchmark of the actual score of Firestrike. And I also did a benchmark of TimeSpy. However, I completely failed to capture that one. It actually crashed 3D Mark. So I'll just have to show you the image here of the actual score that I got doing that benchmark that I did doing TimeSpy. So moving on to the next benchmark, we actually have the Cinebench benchmark. Cinebench doesn't really use the GPU at all. It is simply a CPU based benchmark, and I was actually pretty surprised with that one as well. It performed very well. You'll actually see on the screen here in a little bit in the left hand side some of the other CPUs that it compares to. Granted, the ones that are on that list are dated. I think the highest one on there is a Xeon, but I see a 4770K on there, things like that. So that, not really a good comparison since it's an older piece of kit, but you can clearly see the results of the bench. You can also see that I did click the OpenGL benchmark as well, and I ran that one. It did not capture that one at all, so I'm not sure what's going on, if it's an OBS setting that I'm having that's causing this issue, or if it's something that I'm just not seeing. One, to cause the frame rate drops, and two, to not be able to capture a lot of the footage that I'm trying to get for you guys, but I digress. The last benchmark that we have is the Heaven software. And the Heaven software I have at the highest settings it will go at 16 times, I believe it was the AA. The tessellation is at Ultra. I put it up all the way, and I benched it at desktop resolution, which is 2K. And that one pretty much pulled through as I would expect. It was usually a 60 to 90 frame average. There were a couple of stutters in there every now and then, very few. There was one scene in particular that was going through a corridor, and I'll put that one on screen so you can see it, but you should see it stutter. Again, not sure if that's because I was recording or if that was actually my system that stuttered on it. So there are my benchmarks for the new Rage machine, as I have dubbed thee, and I would love to see your guys' benchmarks. I will be putting links to the benchmarking software that I used in the description below, and if you want to run those, feel free and let me know your results. The 3D Mark one is a paid software. However, you can use the 3D Mark demo, and except for when you do that, it will go through all of the 3D Mark tests, not just the two that I did. I'm not even sure if you could do TimeSpy on the demo. It's been a very long time since I've had the demo version of it. But Cinebench and Heaven are completely free, so use those as you will. There are my results for the Heaven benchmark there at the end, and again you can see the settings that I had it set up as and my score that I achieved, and I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think there's really anything that I can throw at this system that it will not handle gaming wise once I get the OBS stuff sorted out, because I don't know why I'm having a problem with it now, but because I really haven't in the past, but now I am. Then we will hopefully get the gameplay footage that I'm looking for as well. The gameplay footage that I've tested worked perfectly fine when I was recording that. I hit 60 on that, no problem. So that should not hinder any of my future videos. And this is my 100th video. There may be one or two that are unlisted that you cannot see, but by my count, it is 100, according to YouTube at least. And I'm thinking maybe I will commission someone to do a revamp, to do a new icon or expand on the icon that I have done. I'm really not the most artistic person in the world, nor am I very good at using digital media and when it comes to artistry. Or I would also like to see new intros and outros, one for my Let's Plays that I do very rarely, which I apologize for that on the Doom one specifically, and the Steam Shuffle intro. So we'll see how that goes. For now, I'll be using the Old Faithfuls that I've been using for quite some time now. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.